Our story begins with a girl saying that she has become sad, because even in the novel, people are discriminated against because their hair and eye color is different from other family members. We see a girl talking to some old woman, and the woman tells her she's crazy and to keep having fun, but the girl orders her to leave and stop paying attention. In fact, this old woman is a ghost, and asks the girl how long she is going to live like this, because it seems to her that it is miserable. But the girl tells her to stay out of her life and to go her own way, because according to the girl, this old woman was bothering her mother while she was alive. But the girl does not understand why she is bothering her now. This something asked the girl if she thought that she was here because she loved her, to which the girl got angry and asked her why she was following her, to which the old woman told her that it was because no one would accept her but her. Our heroine grabbed a pillow and tried to muffle her hearing, to which the girl told her that she was at it again, and she believes that even if she is reborn 1,000 times, she will still not live like her mother. Our heroine says that her mother listened to always that is a bitch seeing ghosts and is basically an unlucky woman. Even just going near gets bad. But our heroine says that her poor mom heard these words all her life. The girl doesn't understand at all what's wrong with dead souls. She says that even her father threatened to shoot her down because of those damn eyes, and after her mom passed away, her father abandoned the girl. The ghost asks the girl if she's going to live in reclusiveness, to which the girl tells her she's sick of romance and that the ghost annoys her too, and asks her to disappear. The old lady asks her why she's angry or doesn't like being different, to which the girl doesn't answer. But Ghost continues to grind her further and ask why she's against all this, because according to her, she's the chosen one. The girl got angry and threw the pillow. While saying that she never wanted to be chosen, she tells the demigod that when she thinks of her mother who suffered so much, she wants this something to go straight to hell. The ghost tells the girl that however she needs to accept this, but the girl says she'd rather die than live like this. But it's something she doesn't know. Should she give the girl back her desire to live again? This ghost tells the girl that she should know why her mom made such a choice. But apparently the girl doesn't want to listen to this old lady at all. But she keeps saying that the girl should also realize her worth. The girl looked at her phone, and apparently she realized that something was wrong, and immediately started yelling at the old woman, asking her what she had done again, to which the old woman tried to convince her that the girl should do as she wanted. Our story moves to some palace, and a girl asks someone what he's staring at while saying she feels disgusting. And right after that, we see one young man telling the girl she's a loser, and that they meet her every time at the opening of the ball. He asks the girl if it's because she wants to have fun too, and at that, he kicked the girl and ordered the maids to take her to her room. The girl couldn't understand why he had just kicked her. The boy looked at the maid standing next to the girl and told her that if possible, they might not let the girl leave the room, and at the same time added that it would be better if they tied her up. The maid said to the girl, "Mistress, ask her why she left the room again, because now the young master will punish her too." But at that moment, the girl noticed that she had purple hair, and then she realized that the bloody old woman had done something wrong again. The maid walked forward, while the girl silently followed her. But the maid could not understand why the girl was very obedient today. They reached the girl's room, and the maid told her not to leave the room, and left, slamming the door behind her. At this time, the same old woman appears behind the girl and asks her if she had a good trip, to which the girl reacted very violently, asking her what she had done and why she was having this dream. The old woman called the girl a fool and told her that this is not a dream, and apparently the girl was shocked by this news. But this ghost says that all this is happening to her because she has no idea, and told the girl to try to save this girl, who looks so much like her and whom the old woman cannot stand. She says that this girl is a cursed child and the headache of this family, and asks the girl if that's why she doesn't like Flotty either, and tells the girl that she's going to die soon and that she'll need the old lady to survive. Our heroine got angry and told the old woman to stop talking nonsense and return everything as it was. The old woman told our heroine that if she did not need her, she would go look around, but the girl asked her where she was going. Our heroine saw something edible on the table and said she had to live, and started eating and thought she didn't want to end her life in the world she was strangely trapped in. She tried to make herself remember the novel she finished reading, and now we find out that our heroine's name is Kim Ji-soo. Our heroine tells us that the princess of the Olin Empire, Flotti Bavinia, is a girl who has been condemned all her life for being a cursed child, after which her sanity has become unhinged. Kim Ji-soo says that Flotti woke up one day and found that the people of the duchy had disappeared. And then Flotti was killed by the Archduke, who broke into the mansion because of the crime the Duke had committed. After all, Float is a minor character whose goal was to make a strong impression on the Archduke at the beginning of the novel. And here the girl can't figure out how to survive in such a situation, and she feels that this venture is hopeless. Our heroine says that Flotti told the tyrant Archduke that she doesn't know where the Duke is now, but apparently he cut off his head and the girl thinks it was strong. But in any case, this is her reality now. The girl began to wonder when Erzherzog would appear, and she thinks she should get ready to run. But she says she should do some reconnaissance first, while the maid is watching the girl. Suddenly the girl hears some voices saying that the situation is not easy, and you need to get out first. And one of them asks the other what the prince said, and suddenly the girl began to suspect that it is the Duke and Duchess. They keep talking amongst themselves, and someone says that the prince said it would be good to be prepared, to which one of them asks the other how he's handling it all. But the other suggests they keep their voices down. Here we realize that indeed a man and a woman are talking to each other, and the Duke says that it would be a bad period if there were not this Archduke Noctis. The woman tells him that she has said before that they should target the Archduke first, not the Crown Prince. To which the man asks her what kind of woman, how can she know? But the woman told him to stop making noise and get ready. Hearing this conversation, the girl thought it was the end. She says that she knew that the Crown Prince was weak and the Archduke was Devon Noctis. And she realizes that according to the content of the conversation, the Archduke will soon come to the duchy. The girl seems to have come up with some plan. She thought that tomorrow she would have to find a maid's dress and prepare to escape. Apparently, the girl wants to pretend to be a maid and escape unnoticed. Morning came, and the girl woke up to some shouting, and leaving the room, the girl asked, "What happened?" But suddenly some men approached her and told the others that Princess Bavinia was here and ordered them to seize her. The girl didn't know what was going on, when suddenly a man put a sword to the girl and, calling her Princess Bavinia, told her it was better for her to sit quietly and not try to escape. These men bound the girl and kneeled her before the Archduke. One man told the Lord that the Princess Bavinia had been caught, to which His Majesty reacted and asked her where the Duke of Bavinia was. Our heroine, with tears in her eyes, told him that she does not know where they are, but thought that if she does not answer, he will kill her. But the girl really does not know where they are, because she could not even imagine that they are so quickly escape. The girl thinks that the Duke and Duchess didn't go to sleep, but were preparing to escape. She thought they were damn bastards for leaving their daughter to die and running away, but then she thought that they didn't even consider her a daughter. The girl says that Flotte's parents always despised her just because of her hair color. Archduke Devon got angry and asked the girl again where the Duke and Duchess were, and at the same time he put the balls on the girl's head. And at that moment, the girl thought she couldn't think her way out of this shitty situation. The girl, shouting, told him that she really knew nothing, for since she was despised, she had not even been told a word, for she said she was only a decoy. But these words the man did not seem to understand. The girl thought she should not tremble, for she was different from the begging Flotti, and yet told the Archduke that by wasting time on her, he had allowed the Duke to escape, and in doing so, he had contributed to the Duke's plan. At that moment, the Archduke said that if the girl said it was too late, then he ordered the girl to be killed immediately. But the girl did not understand why, and told him that she was really not guilty, because as she said, she knew nothing about the escape. The lad turned a little to look into the girl's eyes, and said that he had never said that the Duke was guilty, and again ordered his men to kill her, for he said it was no good to let a traitor live. At this moment, the girl thought that this is a betrayal, because what the Duke did is called betrayal. But she cannot die just like that, and then she decides to tell the Archduke that all her life she was ignored in the duchy. The girl says that she was despised because she was born with excellent hair and eye color, so she doesn't understand why she should die because of that. and she looked straight into the eyes of the Archduke. The guy looked at the girl and asked her why he should let her live, but the girl was a little confused and told him that she would help him with everything. The guy told her that if she would help her, she should tell him what she was seeing, and if she answered correctly, he would keep her alive. And at that moment, the girl realized the reason why the old woman had told her she would be needed. The girl could not answer the guy's question at once, and so he ordered her to die. But the girl was very much frightened at that moment, and said in her mind that she would accept whatever the old woman wanted, but only that she should come right now. The old woman appeared right in front of the girl and told her that this is what she should do, but she agrees, but there will be no mercy for her. At that moment, a miracle happened, and the girl saw the black lion next to the Archduke and told him so. Everyone seemed surprised at the girl's answer, and then the guy laughed, saying she was useful and ordered his men to leave her alone. But the girl at that moment thought that she was going to have a hell of a hard time from now on. After a while, the Archduke and his aide were sitting at the table discussing what had happened earlier. HHH's aide asks him if he thinks the girl can be trusted, to which the guy replies that it doesn't matter to him whether she can be trusted or not, since he has her life in his hands. The aide tells his master that this girl has mysterious powers since she saw the Black Lion of Noctis, but the Archduke seems amazed by this too, and so he finds her even more useful. The aide says he is worried, as he believes that futility and worry can escalate into great unhappiness, but the Lord tells him to focus on finding Duke Bavinius. The girl listens as the Archduke says that Prince Omen will definitely take care of Duke Bavinius, or else it's not the boy, it's the Empress, and he thinks things will get more complicated if she decides to follow through. Because as he says, this woman has a firm grip on the Imperial Palace, but still he thinks it's okay, because they have advantages. His assistant was surprised at these words, and asked the gentleman if he was talking about that famous girl who was the disgrace of Bavinia, but the gentleman said that from now on she was not Bavinia, but Flotti Noctis. The girl had finished eating, and there was a mountain of dishes near her. The girl, smiling, thought that for the first time in her life, she felt that she would die of satiety. But then, an old woman appeared, and told her that she had not brought her here to feed her something tasty. The girl saw the old lady and wondered what she could do with this murderous old lady, and told her to do everything in moderation, for it was funny to her that they had crammed it into such a novel, and to ask the old lady if she knew that just now she had almost said goodbye to her life. The old woman gave the girl an angry look, and told her that she would see if she would talk peace when she needed the power, but the girl told her that nothing would happen if she didn't. At this point, the old woman thought about it, and asked the girl if she still didn't understand why she sent the girl here, to which the girl asked her back why she didn't send her to a good family if she was going to do that. Our heroine tells the old lady to watch, because no matter how it is, she will not leave her alone. And suddenly from behind the girl appears a gentleman who tells the girl that if she is bored, she can join him. The girl started stuttering, but the guy asked her if there was someone else here. But the girl thought there was indeed an old lady here, but didn't tell him about it. They came to some room, and the Archduke sat down on a sofa and told the girl to sit down beside him. But the girl immediately asked him what had happened. The guy tells the girl that she said earlier that she knows nothing about the Duke of Bavinia, and it turns out that he helped the prince with the plot, to which the girl says that it turns out that it is the family of the Duke of Bavinia helped the Empress Dowager and the prince. The guy was surprised that the girl understood right away, and told her that she seemed to grasp everything on the fly, and he wouldn't drag it out, and immediately told the girl that they were to be married. But the girl seemed stunned by the news. Our heroine thought he was joking, and that he was quick to jump, and asked him if he meant the very spouses, to which the handsome Devon said it was the spouses, for she didn't look like a spy, judging by her silly expression. Flotti did not like that he called her stupid, and told him that it was too sudden, and asked him why suddenly consorts, to which the guy replied that the girl herself said that the Duke had helped the Empress and the Prince. He tells the beautiful girl that she will go to the palace to catch them, and asks her, did she really plan to appear there under the treacherous name of Bavenia, and tells her to be ready for the ceremony upon her arrival at the manor. Our heroine thought about the fact that she herself said that she would help the Archduke, and now she should get rid of the Bavinian name in order to catch her enemies, because it has come to her attention that the Bavinians are traitors. The girl asked the gentleman if she had to live the rest of her life with His Highness, and wanted to say something else, but the guy interrupted her and asked if she was already thinking about divorce without even finishing what she had started. Our heroine began to deny and said that maybe she would meet someone she would love, and asked him if he would give her freedom if that happened, and at the same time thought that if she did not get a divorce, her life was over. The guy laughed and said he couldn't imagine the daughter of a family traitor falling in love, but still, he says if he catches them all, that's when they'll get divorced. The girl says she'll capture the Empress and the Prince so that His Highness the Crown Prince can ascend the throne safely, and then she says they'll divorce. After the girl finished her speech, the guy laughed, and standing up from the couch told the girl that he hoped that everything would work out, and ordered her to get ready, because soon they were going, and at the same time warned her not to run away, at which time the girl thought that she did not even have a chance to escape. At this time, the guards are guarding the palace, and one asks the other if there is nothing suspicious in that direction, while the other answers that there is nothing. Flotty saw their conversation and said that there was no loophole to escape, as the guards had blocked the escape route. But even if she succeeded and could escape, she had nowhere to go and nothing to do. The protagonist got angry and said that because of the old woman she was living like a dog, but then this old woman shows up and asks her, "What do you mean like a dog?" because she's doing fine. Apparently it doesn't seem that way to the girl at all, for she asks the old woman if she's mocking her, since she says she's getting married here, and asks the old woman if she's aware of it. The old lady asks the girl what she doesn't like, for in her opinion she looks happy. But Flotty says that apparently all the luck in the world has frozen to death, and asks the old lady what she means by saying she looks happy. The old lady doesn't like the girl's words, and she says that the girl should be grateful to her, because this guy is very handsome. But the girl yelled at the old lady and asked her why she didn't take him for herself if he seemed so handsome. The old lady is like mocking the girl and asks her if she likes his face, but the girl can't stand it anymore and tells the old lady that she is done with him. But then there is a knock on the door and she is told that if she is done she can come out, but the girl says she will be out in a second. Already everyone has gone outside to start the journey, and at this point the girl thought she had another freaking hostage day started. And at this point the guy pulls the girl out of her thoughts by asking her if his wife got any sleep. The girl, at these words, reacted not very well, but the guy asked her why she was so surprised, to which the girl replied that for her this treatment is strange. But the guy told her to get used to it, because soon will be wedding ceremony. It seems that our heroine wanted to say something, but the guy interrupted her and asked her if the imperial palace would also address him, Your Highness, because according to him, so she will be captured before she fools the Empress. The girl said confidently that she would try to make it all right, and it wasn't happening, but still she thought she had a talent for being unlucky from the morning, for by all appearances, her mood had soured. His Majesty informs everyone that from now on, they will ride without stopping Yes Manor, but the girl couldn't understand. How can it be without stopping, and asked him how long they have to ride. The assistant of the Archduke told the girl that usually the road takes 2 days, but they will choose a shortcut, and if they run continuously, they will get there in 24 hours. But still the girl could not understand how it can be continuous. But the assistant told her that it was continuous. The girl could not understand what kind of abuse this was, and thought that man from ancient times needed to sleep and eat to regain strength. And suddenly the gentleman behind the girl asked her what she was doing, and told her not to run away. The girl told him that she would not run away. Then the mystical spirit appears again, and tells the girl that since she is beautiful, she did not want to say me before, but now she will say, as she is lucky that her husband will be such a man. The old woman tells the girl not to take the shortcut, because if they don't take that road, they will all die. But the girl is scared, and at the same time surprised by it. The spirit tells Flotty that since she has decided to accept her, she should know how to do the right thing, and asks our girl how long she has to help her, because it takes a lot of energy. Suddenly, grandfather saw a vision from the future, where a rockfall fell on them, and tells His Majesty to hide, whereupon everyone died, and only His Majesty survived. The girl realizes that she has just seen the future, and tries to tell the knight. She tells him that they can't go on the road now, because they could all die. But the girl only heard her to get out of the way, and asked her what she was carrying. He pushed the girl away and she fell to the ground, and told her that if she was going to go crazy, let her do it nicely. But the girl kept telling him that they were really all going to die, and asked them why they didn't believe her. At that moment, the Archduke Devon's aide came up to her, and holding out his hand to help her up, asked her if she was all right, to which the girl replied that she was all right. And at the same time, he told the girl that the Knights of Peruse were not friendly to the young lady, only because they had suffered because of the Duke of Bohemia. The girl agreed with him, and said that these people were no help. The nice guy told her that since they were leaving soon, it would be very good for the young lady to finish her preparations. But the girl told him to wait, for she had something to tell him before they left. Our heroine began to say something to him. She said that he already knows about her abilities, because she saw the Black Lion Archduke. But she did not have time to continue, because the guy asked her what she wanted to say, to which the girl told him that they cannot go on the chosen road. The girl tells him that they need to go the other way even if it takes longer. But the guy tells the girl that since this way lies through a mountain range, the road will take about 2 days. She told the lad that she knew about it, but if they didn't take the shortcut, they would fall under the collapse. The lad hesitated, but the girl went on and told him that she wasn't lying, and if he didn't believe her, then let him give these words to the Archduke. The young man agreed to give these words to the Archduke, but asked her if by any chance she knew where the collapse would take place. But the girl replied that it would take place about an hour's ride from here, on the high mountain, where there are many huge rocks, and there is also a steep precipice. The Archduke's aide seemed to hesitate at these words, but the girl said that all this will begin the moment the first formation will cross, and the second will be lower, and also they will not have time for shelter, and they will all die. The girl with frightened eyes says that only one person will survive, and that is the Archduke. After these words, the young man asked the girl to wait at this very spot, and apparently he went after the Archduke. The assistant, together with the Duke's heart, was already approaching the girl, and the girl seemed to be waiting for him a lot. And as soon as he reached the girl, he asked her to clarify, and asked her if she was sure of what she was saying, to which the girl replied that she really saw it. It seems that these words upset the Lord greatly, but his aide told him that they should arrive at the manor within 2 days, and if there was a problem with the food supply, it would be difficult for them to resist the imperial knights, to which the Lord replied that he was aware of all this. It seems that these words surprised our heroine, because she asked them who was after them, but the Archduke asked her if she thought that the Empress would just let her live, and at the same time says that he thought that she grasped everything on the fly, but according to him the girl is absolute zero. The girl didn't like these words, and suddenly the guy tells her that this must be reliable information. But the girl seems a bit confused. Then the guy went on to tell her that he believed her because she saw the Black Lion, but he doubts her loyalty because he thinks that maybe she joined the Empress and decided to deceive him. Devon tells Flottie to stop before she dies, because according to him it's his last warning, but then the girl realizes that as she expected, he doesn't fully trust her, and she thinks that even if the risk is very high, she still has to be more determined to survive. The girl, with despair in her eyes, asks him if he didn't find her useful, and why he still can't believe the card in his hands, and asks him to come to his senses, because if he doesn't listen to her now, he'll regret it later. The guy looks directly at her and tells her not to worry, because he already regrets that he left the Duke alive. But hearing these words, the girl told him to do as he wants, because she no longer wants to regret the body dead in the Duke's mansion, and especially that in any case the Archduke will survive. The boy smilingly told her that she spoke very beautifully, to which the girl said that she only told the truth, and then His Highness's aide intervenes in their conversation and tells him that it is necessary to make a decision, because the longer they are delayed, the worse it is for them. Our heroine tells the gentleman that if he is going to trust her, then let him trust her plan, to which the guy tells her that he will listen and then decide. But the girl does not agree with him, and tells him that you cannot with such an ambiguous position, because he must answer exactly, because the time is very short. At one end, the guy agrees, and then the girl tells him to listen carefully. The girl warns him that there must not be a single mistake, for everything could fall apart at any moment. The enemies are already on a sailing ship, and the knights say that they are the knights of the Archduke, and they are mighty. And then someone asks the general when they can start the plan, while the general says that if they go head-on, they will lose, and so they need to attack suddenly when they enter the rough terrain. He says that if they go into the gorge, they'll come to a rocky road, and that's why they want to wait for the wagon. The princess is supposedly riding on, and everyone agrees with the general. The empress tells her servants to kill all the servants except the duke and duchess and their child, and she also tells them to kill Flotti Bavinia, for the escape of the duke and duchess has succeeded, and only the helpless princess remains. The aide tells the general that the knights of Peruse have abruptly begun to climb the left mountain ridge, and he doesn't like it at all. But he doesn't understand why they are trying to find a place to camp, despite the fact that they have recently set out. He tells the general that if they stop here, they will make a greater mistake, to which the general replies that they must immediately advance, and orders them on no account to look in the direction of the knights. They started to go out, and the general ordered them to be natural, for with a savvy enemy, even a small mistake could result in death. But the aide could not understand why they were doing this now, for it was still a long way from sunset. Suddenly, there was a rock slide, and the general's subject told him that he had to take cover, and had no time to finish his sentence because he had already been pelted with stones, and the general also got well. He says that according to the empress's orders, he was only supposed to pursue the Persian knights, but there was a collapse, and he thought that the Persian knights had set them up. But he had no sooner finished his sentence than the Archduke appeared before him and congratulated him for surviving. He uttered the name of the Archduke Noctis, as the latter told him that he must know him well, and that he did not look wounded. But the general asked him if they knew that there would be a collapse, and in his mind he thought that he was not God, for he only had imperial blood running through his veins, and therefore he could not see into the future. At that moment, Noctis's aide told His Highness that they were those sent by the Empress, and that they were disguised as merchants, but they all had swords. But the general immediately denied it. He was about to say something, but the master interrupted him and said that they were only doing the mistress's bidding. And then the Archduke told him that he would spare his life, as he had something to do before the Empress, the Archduke, telling him that the lion would soon find her, and that he was a lowlife who dared so brazenly pursue him. And apparently it's all over. Flotti asked Devon if it was him, to which the Archduke replied that it was the Empress's man aiming at him. But the general looked at our heroine and said that this girl was the disgrace of Bavinia. At that moment, the Archduke, addressing the girl princess, told her that it was dangerous here and advised her to return. But the girl said that in any case they were all dead. Our heroine asked Noctis if he was going to send this man alive, to which the Lord answered her that indeed he would, because he had something to give to the Empress. And looking at him, the Archduke asked him why he stood, for he must hurry and give it to the Empress. The girl happily asked the guy if now he had a little more confidence in her. But the guy didn't answer that question, and the girl asked him if he would refrain from answering. But suddenly the guy thanked the girl, but she started to scoff, saying that she didn't hear. The guy thanked the girl again for the day, and told the girl that the search was over, and now they could go back. But at this point, the girl just smiled and thought that the guy was embarrassed and that he was cuter than she had thought before. Suddenly appears again that old woman, and was surprised that the two of them got close. But the girl pretended not to understand what she was talking about and asked her where she was. But the old woman told our heroine that she herself told her to leave. Our heroine asked the old woman why she didn't tell her that the Empress was persecuting them, to which she replied that the girl should have realized it herself, and at the same time asked her why she kept making a fuss over her, and called her rude, because if she helps the girl, it's bad, and if she doesn't help her, it's bad too. At this moment, our heroine told the old woman that she was too noisy, and sent her away, but Mr. Noctis was watching, and he did not understand who the girl was talking to. Another day came, and finally our heroes reached the location. The girl looked and admired the beautiful palace. For her all this seemed unreal, because it seems to her that it can be only in fairy tales, and she lives in this fairy tale. And then the gentleman tells the girl not to stand on the pillar, but to follow him. And then the girl realized that after all, he does not know how to speak politely, and at the same time the maids were bowing to them. He brought the girl into one room, and told her that she would live in that room, and what she must have realized by seeing the harassment of people, that it would be better to get rid of the surname of Bavinia. Devon tells our heroine that it will be good as soon as possible to play the wedding, and that he thinks that it is not worth inviting distinguished guests, only will exchange simple documents, and then the girl says that in any case, this marriage of convenience, but in his head thought that it is a pity that not for love. He tells the girl that for some reason he thinks she's overconfident, but the girl says that's what she has to do, and it doesn't matter if she dies or lives because according to her it's better if it starts sooner. After their conversation, the guy was silent for a while, and then told the girl that he was going to rest, and turned away from the girl with a stony face, but she stood and smiled sweetly and wished him luck. The girl laid down on the bed and sighed heavily, while saying what a morass this was, and began to wonder if she had any regrets about reality. A girl thinks about her past life, and she asks her mother why she looks, and someone tells the girl that she's a bad luck girl, and all. Just because she looks a lot like her mother and tells her to confirm it, and asks someone to tell her that she's going to die. She says that in order for her father to survive, her mother became a shaman. The old lady appears again and tells the girl to put useless thoughts out of her head, but the girl says she is very surprised and asks her why she is making noise again. The old woman told the girl that she was afraid that her thoughts about her father would bring bad luck, and that's why she showed up. At the same time, she said it was crazy to believe that thinking about a man who resorted to violence every day would bring something good. And suddenly the girl told the old woman that she was not thinking about it, and that she had enough of this talk because in any case he was the one who escaped. And then she thought that her body had also left reality, and now what she should focus on was how to survive in a novel whose content she did not even know. Our heroine calmly approached the old woman and asked her if she would take care that she would not die, to which the old woman replied that she lives by her orders and does not understand why she asks about it. The girl got angry and said she had had enough and asked the old lady what she could talk to her about and told her not to talk to her now because she was very upset. But the old lady exhaled heavily and asked her when she would grow up and said she had had enough too. The girl was lying in bed and thinking about the marriage of convenience and the fact that she would soon be a bride, and apparently these thoughts did not leave her alone. The ceremony has already begun, and someone is telling them that they are hereby informed that the marriage is consummated. But the girl thought only that it was not real, and even the knight standing guard, and the priest. She doesn't understand a wedding ceremony that no one is invited to, or even a bride who doesn't even have a bouquet. She's not very happy about it, but still can't help it. The guy puts his arm around the girl and tells her to take care of him now that they're allies, but the girl says she never thanked him for saving her. But the guy says it's a little late for gratitude. The girl says that in that case, she will destroy all the insects that His Highness wants to capture. And according to the girl, it will be in lieu of gratitude. And she gives her hand to the boy. The Archduke tells our heroine that now their marriage must look good in the eyes of others. But the girl asks him what he means. And the guy explains to her that it means that they will have to live in the same room and behave in a friendly manner at all official events. He looks directly into the girl's eyes and tells her that from the moment they leave the banquet hall, she will love him. But the girl was confused and tells him that there is no need for such a game. The guy holding the girl's hand tells her that if she doesn't want to hear dirty words from others, she should listen to him. But the girl asks him if he cares or if it's to increase the likelihood of the plan's success. Devon tells Flottie to think about what she's closer to, but the girl asks His Majesty if he's going to pretend to love her too, to which the guy replies that she's going to pretend to love him too. The girl has a sadness in her eyes and says she'll do whatever it takes to survive, but apparently they're starting to like each other, you can tell. The girl was looking out the window and seemed to think that he had never said anything like that and didn't know what to do. But at the same time, the guy told her not to stand there and go to him. The girl became embarrassed and turned to him, while he stood with a bottle of wine and asked her if they would have a drink, and at this time both were dressed in robes. After the guy offered the girl a drink, she thought unreal they were really going to have their first night out, and yet she was cheerful and smiling sweetly. The girl asked him if they would sleep together tonight, to which the guy asked her if she wanted to, but the girl said she asked because they had to share a bedroom. But the guy told the girl he had no interest in hostages. It seems that these words made the girl angry, but she said thank God he didn't have a crush. But the guy told the girl it was because he wasn't hungry for women. At this point, our heroine thought that a beautifully decorated bed is useless, since the newlyweds are not even going to spend the first wedding night. And it seems that the girl was a little disappointed. Flottie calmly told Devon that she was tired anyway, and was going to go to bed. But then that old lady comes along and calls the girl a bore, and asks her why she suddenly decided to go to bed. But the girl started screaming out of surprise. The main character was scared and asked the girl what happened, to which the girl just smiled sweetly and apologized, saying that it seems that she saw a bug. But the guy did not really believe the words of the girl, because he asked her where the bug could appear here. But the girl immediately began to shrug it off and said that there was no beetle here, and she just imagined it. But at that time the old woman called her a fool and asked her why she was yelling because the atmosphere was very good. Our heroine replied to the old lady that even the topic of conversation was not romantic, to say nothing of the atmosphere, and told her to get out of the room at once, and the old lady immediately agreed. The girl was just sitting on the bed and asked if she left, while the guy was sitting behind her back and said that she didn't seem to want to sleep alone. And the girl at that moment realized that she had said it out loud, and the guy had heard. He tried to lie down next to her, but being on top of her, he asked her if she would be happy if they slept together, to which the girl wanted to say something, but she blushed and couldn't say a word. At this moment, the girl did not know what she should do. She struggled with herself to push him away or to leave by herself, but at the same time, it was as if she wanted to lie with him, as suddenly the old woman told the girl to hide. Suddenly, the guy leaned a little over the girl, and she hugged him involuntarily, and at the same time the girl smiled. But suddenly, it turned out that from nowhere came an arrow. At this moment, our heroine asked the guy what suddenly happened. She at this moment thought that just now it was an arrow almost pierced her head, and it seems the girl was very confused. The main character's aide entered the room and asked His Highness if everything was all right, to which the guy said only to grab the one who did it, and the Noctis aide immediately accepted the order. Devon looked worriedly at the girl and calling her princess asked if she was okay, but the girl seemed to start crying, and the guy tried to wipe her tears and told her to calm down and then answer. He sweetly asked the girl if she had accidentally hurt herself, but the girl said she hadn't, and she was fine, but asked His Highness if he was okay, to which the guy told her it wasn't the time to worry about him. Flottie asked the Archduke if this was the work of the Empress, but then thought that if you thought hard enough, the Empress would order the Duke of Bavaria to personally kill the girl. Our heroine says it's only been 1 day since she arrived at the manor, married and became Flottie Noctis, and asks herself how careless the Empress is of her for doing so. The girl thought it must be annoying for the Empress to be constantly surviving, and told His Highness that it would be better for them if he moved his residence to the capital as soon as possible, in which case she would do her best to survive. The guy put Flottie down and told her to rest in this room, because he knows she's worried about him. But he has to go somewhere. Flottie tells the young man that nothing is going to happen, and he shouldn't worry and let him come back soon, to which the guy tells her that he'll be back soon. At that moment, the girl gets up in bed and calls the old woman, because they have a conversation. The old woman appears, and the girl asks her why she has not seen the future, to which the old woman answers the girl that by concentrating she will foresee the future. But without making any effort it will not happen, and asks her what she hopes for. The girl tells the old lady that she can't live worrying about it for days on end, and says she called her to tell her about other ways, not to listen to her nagging. The old lady says it's a shame, because her mom understood even if she spoke to her rudely. But the girl asks the old lady what does her mom have to do with it, and insinuate the old lady ask her is also to blame. The girl says that a decent person would send someone else to a place like this, should be held accountable. And she says she just wanted to live alone, away from people. And then die quietly. The old woman tells the girl that from the moment she received her, they are one and the same, and if her trust is weak, accordingly her energy is too. But the girl asks her what she is talking about and asks her not to dodge, but to talk business. Apparently, the old lady is already angry and tells the girl that she should trust her while asking her what she doesn't understand. But the girl covered her ears and asked the old lady, "Why is she yelling so loudly? Or does she want the girl to die?" This spirit tells the girl that she's annoyed by the girl's manner of speech, but the girl tells her that if she isn't, she wouldn't send her to places like this, and says it's okay, and she'll take care of it. The old lady tells the girl to catch them, because her husband is not simple, but the girl tells the old lady that she assumed that. And at that moment, the girl thinks that it is probably because of not calling to visit so noisy, and asks, where can her husband be? Our heroine is very concerned about her fiancé and says she will definitely capture the rat bastard who tried to put an arrow in her head. Apparently, the girl was very disappointed. At that moment, the Archduke and his aides were trying to catch the bastard who tried to kill the princess, and at the moment when the murderer felt that it was already a failure and he would not be able to escape, he managed to escape. The Archduke was very disappointed at this, and told his subjects that he could not go far, and ordered them to seize the impudent man. But at that moment, the fellow who had grabbed the wall said they were all fools. At this time, the guy had already started climbing up the wall to the princess's room. But then the girl felt that something is coming right now to her, and looking out the window thought that, could it be a killer? But the girl didn't want to give up so easily, and grabbed a sword, thinking she could handle it. But it turns out not to be the case, because the assassin also had a weapon. At that moment, the girl thought that the one who was going to kill her was right in front of her, and asked him if he was sent by the Empress, to which he replied that for a man who was about to die, she was too curious. Our heroine shouted at him and told him not to evade the question and to answer immediately, but he only said that if he went down her throat, his mistress would be very glad of it. He says that's when he can officially be near her, and then he looks at the girl and says he's sorry to kill such a face, and starts to approach her very quickly. The girl at this point began to regret very much that she could not foresee the future. But she realized that she could not fight, and began to finish him off with words, asking him if he thought his mistress would let him live after this. Princess, tell him that he is being treated like a hunting dog, and ask him if he realizes it himself. The girl says that as soon as the Empress turns her back on him after praising him, she will immediately order the killing of the only witness, namely him. The assassin laughed, and the girl asked him if he thought she was lying. But the guy approaches the girl and tells her that as death approaches, she talks nonsense, and he also says that the Empress will reward him for it. The masked man says that he will be promoted to Imperial Guard, and he will not remain an assassin, but then the girl laughed and told him that dreaming is not harmful, and that his goals are good, but he is a fool to think so. The guy told the girl to shut up, because he's better than her, a disgrace to the family. But the girl said it's true, because he doesn't know the faces of his parents and grew up in poverty, once noticed by the Empress, and he was able to rise to this position. And the girl says it's impressive, but all these words are said with irony. Apparently the guy was a little affected by these words, and he asked what she was talking about. But the girl at that moment thought that she had to concentrate, because to catch the enemy, she needed to understand him first. After these thoughts, the girl saw the guy's past, where he as a little boy asks the killer if he can disappear right now, while calling him a dirty killer, and says it's very mean. He orders the killer not to hurt his little sister, and at the same moment the boy gets stabbed, and he thinks he's a goddamn bastard, and tells the killer he told them not to hurt them. Apparently after a while the guy did kill that killer and tell him that he said he would kill him, and that he too had lived such a miserable life. And then the girl asks him if his sister knows that he kills people. The guy was shocked by these words and asked the girl what she was talking about. But the girl asked him if he thought he was a good brother, killing other people to save his sister. The guy remained in a stupor and asked our heroine, how did she know about it? And came very close to the girl, and again asked her, how did she know? And at the same time put the knife on the girl's neck. But the girl told him to be careful, because all the sins he had committed would go back to his sister. But the guy got angry and told the girl not to talk nonsense, to which the girl told him it wasn't nonsense, because soon his sister would get seriously ill. The killer asked the girl why she should not shut up, to which the girl replied with a question and asked him if he was not interested, because maybe she was telling the truth, and asked him if he was not interested in what the disease was and how it could be cured. This monster laughed and told the girl that she seemed to be deluded, while telling her that it's not a good idea to try to survive with worthless jokes, for since he says there are doctors in any part of the Olin Empire. He tells the girl that he's going to get a large sum of money from the Empress, while yelling at her and telling her to go to hell with her bullshit, but the girl, looking straight into his eyes, told him not to regret it later. At this point, the girl looked confident, but inside trembled with fear, and thought that she used to think that the nightmares were over, after that incident with that damned Archduke. After all, it was a real ambush, but now she really thought she was going to die. Suddenly, someone called out to the princess and stabbed the killer with something. And at that moment, the girl thought that she had denied everything, and that she thought that if she survived here, it was only because of the old woman. The girl really believed that the old woman would not let her die. But the one who now saved her from death was not the old woman, but in fact, it was Devon Noctis, who asked the girl if she was uninjured. Flottie started to stutter a little, but then she said she was fine. That assassin tried to say something to the Archduke, but he told the guy he didn't know if he had 2 lives or not. But he was like a rat, hiding fearlessly. Devon told the assassin that his mistress was getting bolder, and asked him how he should kill him, and asked him if he should cut off all his limbs or slit his throat. Then Devon says it's better to kill him for sure. But suddenly a girl comes in and tells Devon not to kill the man, but the Archduke asks the girl if she's scared, and if she really is, he'll deal with him where she can't see. The girl said that was not the point, while the assassin told the Archduke to kill him, for he said he would not say a word. But Devon began to laugh when he heard these words from the mouth of the assassin. Flottie told her husband not to kill the man but to lock him up, to which Devon replied that this was impossible, since the man had dared to kill his wife. Our heroine says she's not trying to show mercy or anything like that, but asks him if he remembers what she said a while ago. But at the same moment, the killer ordered the girl to shut up, because he asked her if he should trust what the damn bitch said. Hearing these words, Devon got mad, and put her foot on the killer's throat, and told him to watch his tongue, but he didn't even pay attention and started laughing. Then the girl told him that he would stay locked up and watch his sister die. But the killer yelled at the girl to shut up, but still the girl continued her thought, and told him that his sister had a sin, and that it was a sin to have a brother like him. Flottie told her husband to lock this impertinent man up in the rural western slums, and that they would find Isana. And at that moment, Devon's assistant told the lady that she must have a good idea. When the murderer heard his sister's name, he was very surprised and asked the girl how she knew this name, to which the girl answered him that she had told Iran that he would regret what he had done. After a short time, our heroes seemed to have found the girl they were looking for, and opening the door of her house asked her what her name was, to which the girl replied with a question asking who they were. Devon asked this girl if she knew Hardin, but suddenly the girl asked him if he knew her brother, and concerned said that maybe her brother was involved in something dangerous. Our hero seems to have a change of expression, and he told Izana to go with him, and ordered her to get into the carriage, to which the girl did not even dare to say something, but just obediently obeyed the order of the master. Devon tells us that this outskirt is also part of his territory, and that Hardin knows the area well, and has grown up like a dog, and so to the Empress. It was to his advantage. Devon asks his assistant Harton how the purchase of the mansion went, to which Harton replies that they bought the nearest to the Imperial Palace mansion of the Marquis of Gelly, and informs the gentleman that the document of the transaction will soon arrive. The Archduke Devon told Harton that he should be ready to move as soon as this was all over, and in the meantime thought he would catch the vile Empress hiding behind his back and daring to taunt. Our heroes brought Izana to meet her brother in the dungeon, and the girl saw her brother and started to cry, but the guy looked at her and asked her why she was so thin. Izana asks her brother what happened to him and why he's in this together, but Flottie bursts into their conversation and tells them the reunion is over. The guy looked at Flottie obliquely and asked her how they found Izana, to which the girl told him it was none of his business. After all, he wouldn't believe her if she told him. Flotty looked at him and, smiling, told him that she was a cursed child. Apparently, the girl has not forgotten the moment when the guy said those words to her, and then she tries to take revenge on the guy. Hardin, sitting on his knees, began to beg Flotty to give him the right to only one request. For according to him, his sister was not guilty of anything, and with tears in his eyes said that they should kill only him. While Izana was looking at Flotty, the mistress said that she didn't say what she would do to his sister, and then the boy wanted to say something to our heroine while calling her Bavania. Flotty of the city looked at him and told him that she was not a Berenice, but Flotty Noctis, and from then on she was not the Archduke's hostage but his wife, and tells Hardin that tonight was their first night. The boy couldn't believe it, and said it was nonsense. But at the same time, Flott called Izana, and asked her if she had been coughing and vomiting blood a lot lately, to which the girl asked her mistress how she knew about it, to which Flott told her that she was sick. Hardin looked at his sister in horror and asked her if this girl was telling the truth and she was really sick, to which the girl tried to say something to her brother, but immediately started coughing up blood. Hardin was horrified at the sight of this, and began to beg Flotty to call a doctor and save Izana, and then we realized that Hardin is very dear and close to Izana because she is the only thing he has. Flotty told Hardin that if he didn't want to talk, let him listen carefully. She began to tell him that Izana was poisoned by the natum contained in cheap bricks. The girl says that in the slums this disease is not uncommon, but that doctors do not know how to cure it, and asked him if he knew why, to which the boy replied that he did not know. Flotty says that if for a long time the gnat will affect the body, this disease will appear, and in the whole empire no one knows this fact. And then the girl suggested to the boy to go to the main subject. Our heroine told Hardin that she will cure Izana, but in return the girl wants him to serve her as her mistress, and immediately the guy began to resent, asking the girl what kind of nonsense this is. Izana started coughing again, and Flotty promised the boy that if he swore allegiance to her, Izana would not die, and immediately asked him what he was going to do. And she tells him that the longer he thinks about it, the more serious his sister's illness becomes. Hardin tearfully made the right decision, and bowing to the girl called her the Great Archduchess, and told her that he swore his allegiance, to which Flotty told him that he had made the right choice. We move to one room where Hardin tells his master that his wife has ordered him to make a decoction of asswort and give it to Izana, as the girl is poisoned by gnat. Devon asks his assistant, how did his wife find out about it? To what the Thoth answers that he noticed that the girl has unusual abilities, but in an instant to make a man empress of his own is not only the merit of her outstanding abilities, and they cannot ignore it. The Archduke smilingly tells his aide that he worries in vain, and asks him if Thoth is afraid that his master might die, to which Hardin replies that he is only worried that she will destroy everything they have worked so hard for. Devon remembered something and asked his assistant if he had learned anything more about Flotty, to which Hardin said he had. But that's all that's known in social circles, and in particular, his wife's abilities were nowhere to be found. The protagonist said that the girl is a great card, but Hardin told his master to be careful, because if this secret reaches the Empress, there will be a big commotion. Mr. Noctis tells his subject that he had better worry about himself than him, and tells Hardin not to die from a single blow. But these words seem to have offended Hardin, for he tells his master that this is very insulting. Devon was left alone, and said that it was amazing that his wife had managed to train a dog bred by the Empress. In his opinion, this girl was really very interesting. The action of the story is nosy. In a new mansion in the capital, where Flotty asks Devona if it's the same newly acquired mansion in the capital, and she thinks it's too huge for a temporary residence. Devon tells his wife that she's overconfident, and asks her what she'll do if things drag on indefinitely. But at that moment, the girl thought that they wouldn't be able to get even a little close anyway. Flotty tells Devon that even if His Highness isn't with her, she'll be glad if she can stay in the capital. But at this time, Devon reaches his hand out to the girl and asks her to take his hand. The girl gave him a slightly annoyed look and asked him if it was needed right away, to which the guy replied that there were many eyes present, and to one end the girl gave her hand. The guy kissed the girl's hand and asked her why she shouldn't smile, to which the girl asked him in response, "Can't he see her happy face?" But the guy told her she looked like she was angry and suggested she come in. The servants have already begun to discuss that this Princess Bavinia is the cursed child, and one of them says that he heard that the family of the Duke of Bavinia was involved in a conspiracy, and they asked each other why the Archduke married such a girl. One servant said that our heroine must be working nights to survive, while another told her not to mention aloud the incident of treachery, and yet another said that this clash would increase her Empress and His Highness, the Archduke. The girl smiled sweetly and looked at her husband, told him they had dirty mouths, to which the guy told his wife they should get their good manners. Our heroine said that they love each other, and that she is looking forward to the bedroom, and asked His Majesty if he is also waiting for it, to which the guy told the girl that he is sad that she is still so addressed to him. He pulled the girl to him and whispered to her to say his name, because she had promised him. And then the girl got these words, and she immediately began to play her part, saying that she was still very embarrassed. But the guy asked her how long she was going to be embarrassed. Our heroes entered the room and told the servants that now they can leave, to which they wished them a pleasant rest. But entering the room, the girl immediately pushed away the memory of herself. Devon asked the girl if she could no longer control her facial expression, to which she replied that she was trying very hard, but was not as experienced as His Majesty, and to ask him to stay away from her in the first place. In an instant, the guy took the girl's hand, and the girl immediately began to resent him, asking him what he was doing, to which he replied that today there was a barb in her words, but the girl told him to get away from her because she was uncomfortable. Devon tells Flottie that he's helping her, so she needs to gain experience, but at the same moment, the girl couldn't understand what he was helping her with. But she was smiling, but still very angry. The guy took off his jacket and put it on the chair while telling the girl that she had sent Hardin to the Empress, to which the girl asked him if he knew about it. But the guy asked her in reply why she acted without consulting him first. Flottie asked her husband if she had to report such minor things, to which the guy told her that it was better because they had a strictly contractual relationship. The girl explained to the guy that she wanted to make sure that Hardin would obey her for more than just the sake of the Isna. But Devon said that the Empress would never let him live. Here we see the girl explaining to the guy how he should behave in the palace. She tells Hardin that after he opens the door, he'll immediately veer to the right because the knights will target his heart. And then the girl advised him to use his skills to get out, and she tells her husband that's exactly what she told Hardin to do. And it seems that Devon was surprised at her thinking. Mr. Noctis approached the girl and told her that he wanted to ask her something. Then he asked her why the Duke didn't know about her abilities. After all, he is her father. The girl's eyes became sad. But she began to tell her husband that she was the daughter who had always been despised. And then the girl thought that Flottie was really like the real her. But yet she had received a mother's love in real life, and Flottie had not. Devon took his jacket and said that it was very interesting, but he would go to the study to rest a little. But the girl tried to stop him, because apparently she wanted to say something else to him, but she did not have time because he had already left. Immediately after being left alone, the girl started calling the old woman, asking her if she was here, and telling her to hurry up and come out. And then the old woman comes out and asks the girl why she is there in the middle of the night. The girl was surprised and asked the old woman if ghosts also sleep, but the old woman told the girl that the farther away, the worse her manner of speech becomes. But the girl did not even pay attention to it, and asked the old woman if she also saw something strange. Flottie said to herself that of course she had seen, for she too was a ghost. But the old woman did not understand what the girl meant, and asked her what she had seen. But the girl asked her if she too had noticed that this mansion was full of evil spirits, at which time the old lady said it must be raining because her bones hurt. But the girl said the old lady really saw, and asked her if she pretended not to notice how the ghosts here were obsessed with eating people. The old woman couldn't understand why she should care about such insignificant things, and asked the girl about it, to which the girl replied that it concerns her too, and says that when she was in the territory of Peruse, everything was not like that, and she can't understand why the power doesn't work here. The old lady asked Flottie if she really doesn't work, and said that she doesn't do anything, but it seems that the girl didn't understand the old lady's words, and she said that she is annoyed by the creature that runs after her husband. Well, the girl asked the old lady if she meant the lion. The old lady couldn't understand why the creatures in the neighborhood were so fierce. She says the lion lunged to bite her, and then she hit him on the head, and then he looked at her again as if he was going to kill her, and she says she was very tired. Our heroine asked the old woman if she really met the lion and how she did it, to which the old woman asked the girl in response that prevents two identical gods to meet, and then the girl realized that the lion is the god of the Archduke, but then thought that her husband cannot see ghosts as well as she. Flotty asks the old woman if she has not learned anything else, something like weaknesses, but she told her that she has not seen anything else, after which the girl agreed, and said that she would find out about it later, but asked herself if she needed to get involved with these ghosts. The old lady asked our heroine if she knows what to do, to which the girl replied that she does not know, but must do something about it, because she does not want the later to become a nuisance. The girl heard someone screaming out of nowhere and quickly ran out of her room. The girl saw that one of the maids had fainted and asked one of the maids if she lived in the same room with her, to which she replied that she did, but that the girl had been ill all day. Flotty asked a maid if that girl was often like that. Well, the maid said it was not so, for she had a weak character, but she had never seen the girl so troubled as she was today. Flotty approached that girl, but one of the maids told the mistress that since it is not known what kind of disease it is, she should not go near the girl, because she will do everything herself. But our heroine replied that everything is fine, and she will deal it all, and they need to disperse to the rooms. The mistress ordered all that no one should leave the room till daybreak, and at once all listened to her and fled to their rooms, while the girl was left alone with the staid maid. She started kicking the girl with her foot, telling her to get up, and said that she would count to 3, and then he had to go out. And at the moment when the girl reached 2, a ghost came out to the girl. Our heroine asked him why he had gone, to which the girl did not get any answer, and again she asked him why he had gone, and why he did not answer, and suddenly she heard that he asked her for forgiveness. The girl says she knows he's sorry, but still asked him why he got all over her, to which he replied that the woman looked weak. But the girl asked him what he was going to do when he got all over her. The girl still did not get her answer, and told the ghost to answer quickly, and the ghost said that he also wanted to become a man. Then the girl said that this time she forgives him and will let him go, but next time there will be no mercy. The girl stood and watched the servants come to their senses, and suddenly Hardin appeared out of nowhere, and she was glad that he had returned, but Harder said it was all thanks to Mrs. Flotty. The boy says that as his mistress said, the Empress was going to kill him, but the girl said that it was enough that he did not die, and that is his gratitude. But the boy asked her how she found out about it, to which the girl told him that he did not need to know. Flotty told the guy that he could rest today and was about to go to his room, but she some voices that asked for help, and the girl realized that it was definitely a ghost and asked how many of them were here. The ghosts still asked the girl to help them, and the girl asked them what they were asking her for. At what did they tell you that Marquise killed them? But it seems the girl didn't immediately understand and asked again, and those told the girl that Marquise Gelly killed them. They say it's not fair, because he's like a monster, and one of the ghosts threatens to kill this Marquis, because this man killed them, and then the girl couldn't stand it anymore and grabbed her head, and it was noticed by Hardin, who asked the girl if she was all right. The girl ordered Hardin to rise and see if the Archduke was leaving his office, and the lad at once bowed in agreement with his mistress. After the girl sends Hardin upstairs, tells the ghost that he can now tell what the Marquis of Gelly has done, and tells one of them that he will now speak as a spokesman, and asks him to tell the reason why they can't leave this place.